isn't it a contradiction to say there will always be some of those people, meaning like racist
No,
people, I believe, and saying
the,
let's just ignore them?
the comments like that kind of get under my skin because it's like, what are you going to? What are we going to do? Like I just said, I'm a practical person. What are we going to do? We're just going to like just focus our attention on trying to change people's minds. Like, there's always going to like what.
I,
How do you
I
solve
mean,
that problem?
I can tell you personally what I believe about it. Like,
What do you believe?
I believe that there needs to be a multidimensional approach to this problem. It's a multidimensional problem that requires
Okay.
a multidimensional solution. So I don't think there's
Uh-huh.
one way of dealing with it. I think the way that you
Mhm.
talk about dealing with it in terms of like creating groups and joining groups that allow people to be mentored and to be given opportunities, that's one way. Okay.
Mhm.
I think that another way is helping people break out of patterns of thought that they've been brought up in that are racist or that empower implicit bias. There, I mean, that's the thing that happens. People grow up in environments where they're not exposed, right? Like that
And
kid
you
on the
know what?
bus, right? Who like
And
looked at that woman
it,
with reverence. Like
exactly.
he didn't have an opportunity to learn about people who he didn't encounter. He didn't have a chance to talk to anyone about that. So if people have those chances early on, they're not going to develop these false ways of thinking about themselves and others.
Wait, hold on. What you just said is different than. I think there's a difference. The guy on the bus, you just said that you're going to help him understand that there's a different way to see things. That's the same thing I'm saying. What I'm saying that I don't do is go and that guy, we can help him. That's my brother. We're both black. I'm going to help him to see it a different way. What I'm saying is I don't want to go to the white person and tell the white person, hey, you better respect black people or you better give them opportunity. I'm not going to be that guy.
I mean, I don't think anyone's asking anyone to be that guy. I think that Robin DiAngelo, when she talks about it, that's not what she's saying either. She's telling white people, if you desire, like you said earlier, to
Mm-hmm.
love your neighbor, to be in
Mm-hmm.
community with people who are not just white, then you need to make sure that you check your implicit bias because it will interfere with that. It will interfere with you building
That makes
community.
sense.
Forget about like giving people opportunity. It's not like open up your wallets and give money to black people.
Wait, hold on. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Let me move this mic. That what you just said. Open up your wallet and give me money. And then the other thing you said is that you haven't seen people who say that there has not been any progress. I don't. If you trust the words that are coming out of my mouth, that is a thing
I'm sure
that
it's a
happened
thing.
a lot.
Listen, I don't think it's something that happens a lot. I think it's a small
It
minority
happens
the
a
same
lot,
way. It's the pure blood white
especially in
people.
college. On college campuses, yes, a
Maybe that's what
lot.
you heard, Quincy.
No, this is what I've seen with my own. I've argued with these people face to
How many
face.
people?
Well, in person, maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
Online, maybe 10 to 15.
Okay. So isn't that a small minority?
No, it's not a small minority because these people have people who agree with them, and all these people have people following them. And when they say something, they're cheering this stuff on.
Listen, I think we should all be careful, right,
Huh?
about believing that what is
Faulting
represented on social
generalizations.
media is reflective of
You're right.
reality.
You're right.
So I try not to do that either. Okay, I
Mhm.
really think that from any angle we should be careful about that. Okay, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of bots going on, especially on Twitter. Like it's absurd. It's gotten crazy. Okay, there's all
I
kinds of
believe
crazy
you.
stuff going on. So listen, I believe you.
All I'm saying is it exists. It exists. Don't
I
dismiss
am
it.
not going to deny that it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Everything
Yeah.
exists. Okay, everything you could possibly imagine exists.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right. Yeah.
but like what
That's what you're saying.
I want to focus on like what is prevalent. Okay, because the more like the reason you asked me for the numbers before is because you want to deal with what's prevalent. You want to deal with if it was a
Okay.
big problem, let's deal with it. If it's a small problem, then do we really need to focus our attention on it? Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
So I feel like both the white supremacists who believe in pure blood whiteness is at the same level as the people who are like, no progress has been happening. I don't think we need to deal with either one of those people. Okay.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
personally,
All right.
that's my belief. I want to deal with what I find to be the big part of the curve, which is, in my opinion, a lot of people who are either willfully ignorant about the racism that actually occurs in the world, and if they were knowledgeable about it, that they would find that there is something that they can individually and personally do about it. That is how the system perpetuates, is by keeping people in ignorance. So to actually change it, it doesn't necessarily involve changing people's minds, but bringing people out of ignorance is something that can make a difference, in my opinion. And no, I don't think that anyone has a direct responsibility to do that, okay? But I do think that we shouldn't malign people like Robin DiAngelo who have decided to take on that as something that they are doing, because they are helping. So we can't malign the people who are trying to do something to help, even if it's a context in which we ourselves are not going to work in that. Like, there are people who focus on reparations. I'm not going to like malign people who are focused on reparations, like, because that's what they've decided to focus on in this context. Go for it. Do your reparations thing. You know, it's not hurting me. It's not doing anything to me. So why would I then like malign you for working on that? Something that a lot of other people are getting every day for other things that have happened to them, but Black people are not getting. I would not like try to. Why do people focus on like maligning those people? Why do you focus on trying to stop people from talking about race? Let them do it. You don't have to do it. Let them do it. Okay? Just leave them alone and let them do their thing. What we can do is what we want to do, brother, and what we believe in, which is helping and supporting our people, which is helping people and giving them opportunities and mentoring them and allowing them to thrive for people who have done the work and who deserve it. And that's what you and I are doing. So I think that we just need to see all of us as working as a collective for the same purpose of creating a better world by giving people opportunity. And I think bringing people out of ignorance is a part of that. And it may not be the part that we're working on, but somebody is. And that person needs to be allowed to do their work alongside of us because we're working towards the same goal, believe it or not. So that's my perspective on it. I think it's a multi-dimensional problem that requires a multi-dimensional solution. And it's not reasonable to think that any individual is going to work on every single aspect. We're all going to work on the parts that we're best suited for. You're someone who doesn't want to communicate with people about race in general. You want to just support people. You just want to give people opportunities. You just want to mentor people. And I think that's perfectly fine, a perfect way of doing it. But just don't stand in other people's way who have chosen a different tactic. Just make sure you don't find yourself working at cross purposes to your own goal because someone's doing something differently than you. I don't want you to go down that road. Okay? That's my fear of for you personally. Okay? Does that make sense?
That makes 1000% sense.
Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support and see you next time.